Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 8th of May. Starting off with the S&P, which has broken through and gapped through a rising 50-day line. That's the 51.30. Above that, we're looking for the record highs 52.64, hopefully by the end of this month. If you're a fan of the market, looking with greater glory, the top of that rising trend channel from October is up to 54.64, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the floor of the channel there at 50.40 ideally. There's no break back below the 50-day line, 51.30 in the meantime. Moving on to the Nasdaq, and here obviously echoing what we're seeing at the FTSE 100. The difference is, I suppose, that there's a line of resistance there from back in March, 18,200 to break really, and want to see an end of day close above that to give us a chance of retesting the best levels around 18,500, looking for up to 19,000 plus, that top of that rising trend channel from back in October, 19,300 by the end of next month or even sooner. Ideally, we stay above the floor of the latest gap, 17,500, ahead of trying to break to record new ground. Only back below the floor of the rising trend channel there at 17,200, really delaying the upside scenario. Moving on to the stocks, and here Bioventus is the first contender. Here it looks like we've got a broadening triangle there from back in December. Top of the triangle there is heading for $6.50, and we're looking for that while we remain above the 50-day line, $4.80 on an end of day close basis. Next up is a stock we haven't looked at before, and here we've got Design Therapeutics, a beautiful chart there, beautiful base with the massive gap down that we had back in, basically back in August, and then the turnaround that we've had over the last couple of months. Rising trend channel there from back in the end of January, top of the channel there heading for $5.30, which we're looking for over the next week or two. $5.30 area, also the old summer 2023 support, so makes sense for this market to go there. Ideally, we stay above the recent April peak around $4.10, ahead of $5.30. Nice setup coming up next in the form of Helium, and here first target was around $6, second target rather ambitious, $9.50. Above that, looking for that January resistance line projection at $12, hopefully during the course of May, and the proviso is that we stay above recent intraday support around $8.50. The next situation is one which is also new for us, EverQuote, and here rising trend channel there from September, top of the channel there up to $27.50, which we'll hope we'll see over the next week or two. Best case scenario by the end of this month up to $32, which is the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from September. On to Golden Lakes, and or Great Lakes, in fact. Here you can see that we've got a situation, we've got a rising or broadening triangle top there. The shares gapping through, as a bear trap gap reversal, gapping through the 50-day line, $8.10, and above that looking for the top of that triangle at $10.20, hopefully by the end of this month or much sooner than that. You can see there's a bit of a kickback there from the March-April resistance around $8.80. Moving along to one of the better rises of the last 24 hours, Golden Sun. And here's broadening triangle base, closing sort of on the 50-day line around $4.90. Above that, looking for up to $13 by the end of next month. At the top of that broadening triangle base, obviously that'll take the shares back to where they were back in the summer of last year. This stage only well below, an end of day close back below that April floor there, around $3.10, really delaying the upside scenario. But at the moment, it looks like we've got plenty of wiggle room and leeway, accompanied by bullish divergence. So low for the turn of the month, but RSI actually slightly higher. So hopefully we will make our progress through that 50-day line. Moving on to one of the more frequent flyers that we've had in the recent past, Tech, and here just hitting our the top of our channel there around $4.50. Want to see the shares retest that before the end of May and stay above the old resistance zone pre-April resistance zone around $2.60 in the meantime. So above 260, looking for 450 there at Tech. Another stock which we've looked at quite a lot around here is Motorsport Games, and here bouncing off the 50-day line again at $2.30. Above that, looking for a $4 target, which is a resistance line projection there from back in April last year. Time frame on the $4 plus target before the end of this month, and ideally we stay above recent April resistance at $2.70 on an end of day close basis in the meantime. Another new name or new face, Real Brokerage, and here a sort of broadening triangle channel, gapping through resistance, which is normally a very good thing, above $4.50, looking for the top of that channel as high as $6.70 by the end of this month, on the basis that we have gapped through resistance in quite an exuberant way. Nice setup at Summit, which we have looked at before, but here we've got rising trend channel here from the end of July last year, just breaking into new ground at the moment, and hoping that the break into new ground will see a move towards $6.60 by the end of this month, especially while we're above the initial May resistance around the $4.70 area. On to the last two. The first one is an interesting setup in the sense that we've gapped up within a falling wedge. Recent resistance there around $2.70. Above that, looking for at least that July resistance line at $3.70 by the end of this month. If you're cautious, probably wait for an end of day close back above the floor of that gap there from the end of February around the $3.30 area, but doesn't look like you'll need to have to do that, especially given the way that the recent rebound was foretold by a rising RSI uptrend line, a rising line there in the RSI window from back in March. Finishing off with a bit of a flourish in the form of Zeta Global, and here you can see why, gapping through resistance by quite some margin. Rising trend channel there from January, top of the channel there, heading towards $19.20, which could be a best case scenario target, while we remain above the floor of the channel around $14.30. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.